Sometimes, the work is so, you try to be true. You feel sometimes it's on the verge of a kind of craziness, but it isn't really craziness. It's really getting the truest part of yourself out, and it's very hard, I mean, it's not easy, let's say. And yet it can be very simple at the same time.
Welcome back to another episode of Musings with Mary. I'm Mary Muse, your host, and this week we're going to be looking ahead. If you didn't know, we just had the Capricorn full moon for Cancer season. I'm actually recording this right at the time that the moon is at its fullest. You guys will be hearing this the day after, but they say that full moon workings can, there's a couple days that you can be working with this energy. So I thought this would be a nice way to jump back in to our regularly scheduled programming. If you didn't notice, I have been off for the last few weeks. I have not been posting in the podcast. The first week that I didn't post, it was because I got really sick. In the second week, last week, the reason I didn't post is because I was traveling with family. So I've just gotten back to my regular routine this week and have been doing my best to get back onto the saddle and, get back into the swing. So I just felt really called to talk about this Capricorn full moon this week. Next week, I think I will probably be doing our Cancer love letter because that will be the end of Cancer season already, which is wild, absolutely insane. But anyway, if you didn't know, every sun season, almost every single one, but generally during the sun seasons, the full moon of that sun season will be in the sign that is opposite of whatever sun season we're in. If you're unfamiliar with astrology, don't worry if this goes over your head. But if we look at the astrological wheel, there are what we call sister signs, which are signs that exist on the opposite of the axis. So Capricorn and Cancer are sister signs, and they sit opposite of each other on the wheel, which means that they are like this dualistic type of energy, opposites attract kind of thing. And so it's really interesting for us to sit with this Capricorn energy during the summertime, during Cancer season. And Capricorn can be a really helpful energy to work with whenever we are craving structure. And I've definitely been looking to build that more in my life. So we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to kind of just put out my manifestations for the next 7 years. Why 7 years, you might ask? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the Capricorn full moon. But earlier this week, specifically on July 7th, so 7-7, we had Uranus shift into Gemini. And it will stay in that sign. Uranus will stay in Gemini until 2032. So that'll be 7 years. So we just entered into this 7-year cycle with Uranus on July 7th. There's a lot of energy of sevens going on here. So I thought that instead of the typical, like, where I see myself in 5 years thing, I would go with the where I see myself in 7 years, because it just feels a little bit more aligned for the things that I'm paying attention to in my life. And I encourage you all to do your own reflection. You're welcome to do it as you listen to this episode or do it later on your own time. I'm actually going to be writing some reflection questions for Uranus and Gemini and the Capricorn full moon over in my Patreon. So if you want to access those, if you're a journaling type of person, then I recommend that. I am reorganizing my Patreon a little bit, but I'll talk about that later. So let's dive in. Let's talk about this Uranus and Gemini thing really quick. So Uranus is the planet of destruction and innovation. It is ruled by Aquarius, or I should say Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So Uranus has this Aquarian type of energy to it. If we don't know, Aquarius is an air sign. It is the final air sign of the zodiac, and it is very much connected to like collective liberation, collective growth, and forward thinking. So Uranus has that type of energy behind it as well. Uranus just shifted into Gemini, which is another air sign, but we've been sitting in Taurus for the last 7 years. Taurus is an earth sign. If you didn't listen to my Taurus love letter, you can listen to that if you want a little bit more of my take on on Taurus people. But Uranus in Taurus, sorry, I'm going to be tripping over my words. I can just tell. Uranus in Taurus for the last 7 years has really upended our foundations on what we value, because Taurus has a lot to do with the things that we value in our life, being a Venusian sign itself. Now we're shifting into Gemini, which is Mercury ruled. Again, it's an air sign. It has everything to do with communication and connection with others, as well as technology. And so being in Gemini, having Uranus in Gemini suggests that we're coming into a period of time in which the ways that we communicate, the thought patterns that we proliferate, and the ways in which we connect to others is going to be changing. This could be in a variety of ways, but I would expect for us to see lots of changes in the ways that we use the internet and everything that has to do with all of that, which is, it's hard to even like describe how far reaching this transit may be for all of us, because we live in an era of technology and it is rapidly changing, especially in these last few years. So Uranus in Gemini suggests that it's just going to continue to do that, but it may go in some directions that perhaps we don't expect. This is a time for us to be opening our minds to the possibilities and what we would like to see. So I want to use this episode as a way to really like reach kind of far and put out some maybe what seem like far off ideas out into the ether. But I really want to spend this Capricorn full moon visualizing what I see, not only for myself, but for the world. And hopefully some of these visions that I have resonate with you. Again, for those who are interested, I will have some follow-up guided journal questions. If you're interested, you can check out my Patreon for those. So the Capricorn full moon is a really great time for us to be looking forward into what we want to build, because Capricorn is all about building structure and success. Capricorn is kind of like the boss bitch, the businessman of the zodiac wheel. So we want to take this time now to really envision what our hard work is going into and what we are really aiming towards building in our lives, and to reckon with whether the things that we are spending our time on are really worth it, and if we need to pivot and put more of our energy into other things, depending on what we're looking to grow, right? Again, it's this very earth connected sign. So we want to be thinking about how we are nurturing the things that we want to see grow in our life and in the world around us. So I'm going to kind of start with my own little personal things. Within the next 7 years, take some time here. If you would like to do this with me, I'm going to lead us through a quick little grounding breath moment here. And you can feel free after that to pause this podcast episode if you want and just kind of free write some of the things that you vision for yourself for these next 7 years. But let's get centered before we do that. So I'm going to invite you to sit in a nice, comfortable position with me, whatever that means for you. You could be sitting cross-legged on the ground in a comfy chair. You could be laying down on a bed, on the ground, whatever feels best for you. Take a moment to get nice and comfortable. And once you find that nice, comfortable seat, I want to invite you to notice your breath. We are going to take 3 slow breaths together, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Envision that as you breathe in, you are breathing in all the possibilities of your future in the next 7 years. And as you breathe out, you are exhaling and releasing any of the limiting self-beliefs that you have that might be holding you back from these goals. So here we go. Let's breathe in through the nose. Lightly hold your breath at the top and then exhale through the mouth. Make each breath a little deeper, breathing in. Really fill your belly and breathe out. Last breath, breathing in. And breathe out. Closing your eyes, I invite you to take a moment to envision your happiest future 7 years from now. And if you'd like to pause the episode to take a moment to sit in this pondering position, feel free to do so. I see myself 7 years from now in a cottage in the woods with ample space for both me and my partner to invest in all of our creative outlets. There's a studio for both him and I, music and art and laughter and love always coming from our windows. The sun is ample. Its light shines through our home, lighting it and energizing us. Down the hill, there's a stream that I go to connect with Mother Nature, to give her offerings, to meet with all the little creatures that enjoy sharing the land that I live on with me. I honor this land and I allow my pets to enjoy the space with me. Maybe I'll even have a dog by now. I know that my precious, precious fur babies that are with me now may no longer be with me 7 years from now. But if they are not, I know that they are near. They are always watching. And I am always honoring them within my spirit team and leaving space for new love with new animals who need homes. I feel in harmony with the nature around us. And I protect my peace through protecting my home spiritually and physically. I am able to make a living off of my art, whether that be music or otherwise. I have the time and the inspiration to write. I've published my first book. I've published a tarot deck or maybe an oracle deck. I've continued on this podcast into something that I can't even fathom right now. And I've continued to share my music through the piano with you all and to explore and expand my music in ways that I have no idea what they might look like now. I've opened myself to sharing the other musical interests that I have with my audience. And I no longer experience the digital discrimination that I experience now. My peers within the sex work community will be safe. Our rights will be protected under law. And sexuality will be on the road to acceptance and education and understanding and integration within our society. We will have beaten fascism, and we will be moving towards a more equitable, charitable, and empathetic world, starting with our individual communities. There will be a collective understanding that we are all connected, and when one person suffers, we all suffer. When we focus on collective liberation and retribution for all of the groups that have been wronged for centuries and centuries, we start to heal our connection with each other and with the land that we live upon. We honor that land and we protect it. We honor the animals and the plants within our areas and strive to create an environmental balance that we haven't seen in quite some time. The leaders of our country are compassionate. And fairness is at the forefront of our politics. Not capitalistic fairness, but moral and human fairness. Dehumanization will have no place in this world as we shift into collective consciousness. And the road will be hard, but we shift our mindsets each and every day by trusting that this northern star of ours, this northern star of collective liberation, is a dream and a goal worth fighting for. We watch as systems crumble around us and technology shifts into human-focused, connection and communication focused instead of artificial intelligence. And the ways that artificial intelligence have been functioning will shift and change into something that is equitable, that does not harm our planet, that is sustainable, because technology is not the enemy, and we will not be made to be afraid of it, but we will find ways in which these massive changes in technology will be for the greatest good of all of us. And we will not ignore the harm that is caused by systems and by people. If you're coming back to us now after doing your own reflection, I want to thank you for listening to your own dreams and aspirations and to listening to mine. I appreciate you for being here. I hope that this helps you to set your sights on what you want to see the world change into, because times are a changing, folks, rapidly and without much control. So use this Capricorn full moon energy through this weekend to fuel your wildest hopes and aspirations, to see what steps you can start taking now to build towards what you want to see in your future 7 years from now. Let this cycle of 7 with Uranus and Gemini be a catalyst for changing the way that you connect with the world and with yourself and with those you love. Thank you so much, guys, for listening today. Before I leave you, I want to talk really quickly about how the Patreon is changing. So if you've been listening, if you've been a supporter for a while, you may be subscribed on my Patreon, which I want to take a moment to say thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I have been sitting on this for a while, but I've decided to make a few new tiers for my Patreon. So in the past, I just had one paid option, which was just called Supporter. And it was $5 a month to get any of my unlocked posts. Now I am shifting things. There are 2 options at a $7.77. We went with the 7s. It felt right. There are 2 options, 2 tiers at that $7.77 price. One is called Music with Mary, and the other is called Meditate with Mary. In those 2 separate tiers, there will be separate content. Some of this content will also be available to free subscribers. I will be doing a mixture of free posts and locked posts. So if you want access to all of my posts, then I encourage you to subscribe for that monthly price of $7.77. If you want to get the best bang for your buck, you'll want to check out the bundle tier, which is called Healing with Mary, and it's $12.22 per month. Within this bundle set is both the music and the meditate tier. So within the music tier, I will be posting sound healing recordings. You're going to be getting my piano live stream videos. I already have a few that are uploaded there. I've been taking them from TikTok and taking out all of the speaking, so it's just music, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes long. And I think I might be posting some longer ones in the future. The music tier is where I'm going to be experimenting with some improvisation. I don't usually write music, but I'm feeling very inspired to start writing my own sound healing tracks. These will be totally self-written and or based on some of the songs that you've heard me playing during my live streams. I have been taking a sound healing course this summer. I'm very excited to be starting that part of this new journey in my life. I think in the future, I would love to get a master's degree in music therapy. But for right now, what is doable and within my reach is getting a little sound healing certification. So I've spent the last few months learning about the history and the theory behind sound healing, and I feel excited and confident enough now to start writing my own sound healing recordings. So as of now, the Patreon on the music tier is the only place you're going to be able to get access to these newly improvised and arranged pieces of music aimed towards sound healing. So that is the music tier. As for the meditate tier, this is where you'll be able to find all of my tarot and oracle readings for the collectives, as well as any guided meditations that I post in my Patreon. So if you're a fan of my voice and you like the way that I lead the breath work that I sometimes do in this podcast, and you're looking for some guided, fantasy-inspired meditations to get into for your own self-growth journey, then I suggest you check out the Meditate with Mary tier. This is definitely for the spiritual people out there, all right? So if you're a spiritual type like me and you'd like to support the podcast, the Meditate with Mary tier would be great for you. And again, if you want to get both of those, you can pay $12.22 a month for the Healing with Mary tier, and you'll get access to both the music and the meditate tiers. So I'm very excited for this new little era of mine on Patreon. I'm going to be putting more of my energy into it, so I would love to see you over there. These tiers actually come with a little shout out. So in the future, as I get more subscribers, I will be shouting you guys out on the podcast. Make sure whenever you join with a name that you feel comfortable getting shouted out on my podcast with. I'm very excited to integrate that into our episodes moving forward. If you are a current supporter on the supporter tier, I will be retiring that at the end of this month. At the end of July, I will be deleting that tier. So if you'd like to switch over to a different one, I invite you to do that. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I hope that it felt good for you, because it did feel good for me to just kind of close my eyes and speak on the things that I want to see change in these next 7 years. So I hope you can find some time to do that for yourself. You'll be able to find these guided questions aimed at this 7-year visualization over in my Patreon for free, actually. So you can go ahead and join as a free subscriber to get that and take a look around and see if you're interested in subscribing for real. I'd really love to have you. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one. You can visit xoxo.com to see all of Mary's links. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all your favorite listening platforms. And if you feel inclined, leave a 5-star review for us. Musings with Mary is listener sponsored, so if you'd like to support the podcast, please check out our Patreon. Shout out to all our current patrons. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you in the next episode.